Okay, good morning or good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to the Race and Breaks Oaks and Derby preview. As you can see, we are joined by brand ambassador Ruby Walsh. Ruby, how are we doing?
Very good, Bash. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, buddy. Thank you.
Are you
Obviously,
going to Epsom, are you?
I'm not, unfortunately not. I'm not. What about yourself?
No, I'm not there this weekend. I am actually in Mill Street for the
Oh,
International Horse Trials. That's where I am this weekend.
there you go.
Um, so I am. I have a daughter riding in the pony class, so that is where I will be for the weekend. Wouldn't mind. Well, it's kind of exciting to go and watch her, but I'm sorry to miss an Epsom all the same.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get some winners whilst watching from afar. So we'll kick things off with Friday. Just a full clarification. This is 10:45 on Thursday that we are recording. We'll kick things off just in the 2 o'clock. Ruby, is there a fancy you have here in the woodcut?
Yeah, and in the Woodcut, it is a decent race. Obviously, some big names have won it in the past. New Chapter is your, I wouldn't say anti-post, but it's been favourite since declarations were done anyway. Was second in Newmarket in the middle of May behind Mountain Breeze of Godolphins or Charlie Appleby's. But I like the way Tija of Carl Burks, Clifford Lee rides. I like the way he won at Chester. Went along good and handy, but I love the way he quickened up. Thought it was really impressive. Beat Rashabar and the Flying Seagull. I thought it was a decent performance. I just thought it was a better value. Now, Chester's obviously not Epsom, but at least they're both tight. Obviously, Epsom is
Hmm.
completely undulating, whereas Chester is very, very flat, but quite sharp. I just thought Tija, Philly by Mimas, had a lot about her, and I thought she was value, to be honest with you, in the woodcut, Bash.
Yeah, there you go. I was actually there at Chester when it won, and yeah, you're very right. Won very impressively. Nothing for me in the 235, Ruby. I'm not sure if there's anything that takes your fancy there.
I didn't. Maybe Finn's charm ran okay at Chester. Looked like he needed the run, had a poorish draw, but again, he's drawn in 12 Finn's charm, so that's going to make it difficult. But I just thought he was an each way price at 8-1 for Charlie Johnson and Joe Fanning. Didn't think Joe knocked him about in Chester. He got caught a bit wide. Looked like he needed the run, and he came home well enough. So thought he could run well, Bash, but only an each way poke. No.
Okie dokie. Well, we'll move on to the 310, which is the Holland Cooper Coronation Cup, the first Group 1 of the meeting over 1 mile 4. For me, Emily Upjohn ticks a lot of boxes here. She was obviously second in the Oaks. She's won over course and distance. I don't think she'll mind the ground. And I did like her run in the Dubai Shima Classic last time. I think she'll take the world of beating. Are you in my camp here, Ruby, or are you going to
I
crush
am.
dreams?
I kind of am. I looked through it for a long time this morning, Bash, looking for an angle, trying to find something to take on the even money favorite with, but I couldn't. And
Yeah.
even when you get down to the rank outside or time lock, he's wearing cheek pieces for the first time. Harry Charlton's runner. He can be a big. She can be a bit keen. Sorry, she's a mare by Frankel. She can be a bit keen. But they put cheek pieces on her, which kind of thought, well, if she's going to be keen, does that mean she goes forward? If she goes forward, she could take on Luxembourg because Feed the Flame, Hamish, and Emily Upjohn all like to take their time. I thought it
Mm.
was going to be a tactical race, and I was thinking, well, if Luxembourg gets it easy in front, he could be hard to pass. But with cheek pieces on her, I think Time Lock is going to end up pushing Luxembourg. Luxembourg is 0 from 2 over a mile and a half, whereas Emily Upjohn won this race last year. All she needs is a strong gallop. Kieran Schumacher could do with a change of look. Yeah, just need
Yeah.
one ball to bounce into the net for him, really. And yeah, I think Emily Upjohn could be that filly.
There you go. We're both in unison with Emily Upjohn then. Nothing for me in the 345, Ruby. I don't know about yourself, the nifty 50 handicap.
Yeah, I thought it was very difficult. Mile and a quarter handicap draw is going to be, yeah, paramount, I suppose. Liberty Lane was a really good winner at Newmarket. Derry Lad came home really strong in Naas in his last start. Kevin Coleman's runner. Haley Turner rides with 8 stone 2 on his back. So he'd definitely be of interest. That said, he's been beaten a few times in the UK at Sandown, Haydock, off marks of 83 and 84. He's only off 82. Just looked in good form in his last start at Naas, but again, wouldn't be a strong choice.
No, definitely not. Well, a race we can definitely get stuck into is the 430, the Betfred Oaks, the third classic of the season, obviously for the fillies. 1 mile 4 furlong is the one that sticks out for you here, Ruby.
Yeah, there is. And it's the third classic of the British season. If you chuck in the two that will run in Ireland and the two that will run in France, you're into the seventh classic of the season. And Ballydoyle haven't won one yet.
Okay.
But I think that could change. I liked the way Yalang came home in the Guineas. I thought she did really well to beat Shuari at Newmarket last year in the Fillies Mile. she ran into a bit of trouble in the dip. See the Fire drifted left into Shawari. Shawari drifted out in front of Yalang Yalang as they were making the descent, and Ryan Moore had to change course, and she powered home to win. I thought she came home really well in the Guineas. Obviously, Fallen Angel has franked that form. But I just think Yalang Yalang to me has always looked like a filly that would stay. Some people have questioned her pedigree maybe for stamina. I think there's enough in it to suggest she'll get it. Frankel has sired lots of horses that get this trip, so I'm hoping he can add some stamina to Shambolic, and you end up with Yalang Yalang getting a mile and a half. Started over 7 furlongs. Disappointed, I know, last September in the mile there behind Fallen Angel, but that was her only really off day. And I think Yalang Yalang is the one for me. Azealia, I think that form has fallen apart a little bit from Navan. Beat Purple Lily and Everlasting, who were both well beaten in the Irish 1000 Guineas last weekend. Rubies Are Red never landed a blow behind You Got Me at Lingfield. And the other one I could see running a big race at a better price was Secret Satire, I thought. Beat Francophone, obviously, in the Musadora. Francophone won at Goodwood last weekend, so the form looks strong. I think she'll get the trip. If you want one at a price, Secret Satire at 10 to 1, but I think the most likeliest winner is Yalang Yalang.
I'll agree with you there. I definitely think, yeah, Ylang Ylang looks like she's crying out for a step up in trip. But although you say the form has fallen apart, I really like Azalea here. The Dermot Weld camp. I think she ticks a lot of boxes. She'll travel, she'll quicken. She really puts her head down, which is what I like. She's 9 to 2, so she's a bit of a muggy each way punt. But I quite like her form. She beat Wendler, who beat a horse called Buttons, who was fourth in the Irish Guineas. Obviously, she beat Purple Lily, who was fifth, not a million miles away in the 1000 Guineas. I would rather be having an each way play here. Azalea at 9 to 2 for me here, Ruby. And we will move on to the last race I think we're going to look at on day one, which is the Aston Martin Surrey listed stakes over 7 furlongs. This looks to be a good race, Ruby. What takes your fancy?
It is a competitive race. Only the 7 runners. So yeah, look, listed contest, 7 runners. Where are you going to go? Zoom Zoom is favoured after finishing second behind Esquire, I think it was, at Newbury in the Greenham. So that looks pretty solid enough. Predator's Gift, though, not Predator's Gift, Pandora's Gift, even. Sean Levy rides for Stuart Williams, has had the 5 starts in her life this daughter at Churchill's. They've all been on the all weather, 4 of them, 6 starts, 4 of them, 5 starts, 3 of them at Chelmsford, 1 at Lingfield and 1 at Suddle, and has won 4 times. She's a rating of 101. She's getting £5 from Zoom Zoom, who's your favourite, with a rating of 104. So look, if she can transfer her all weather form onto the turf, and there's no reason to suggest that she won't, I think Pandora's Gift could give Zoom Zoom a good race.
Yeah, I'm complete agreement with you there. I was actually there at Chelmsford when I think it was the Chelmer Filly Stakes, listed stakes she's won, and she was so impressive. I've spoken to a couple of people that are sort of involved in the camp. The only thing they said is she wouldn't like it if it came up soft. So might be one on the weather watch for me, but I'm in complete agreement. If she can transfer her all weather form to the turf, I think she must have a massive chance.
And a great draw, Bash, in stall 1 for a filly that
Yes.
does like to go forward and get on with things.
Yeah.
Down the inside over 7 furlongs at Epsom. I think Pandora's Gift could be in position A from the word go.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, a lot of boxes ticked for Pandora's Gift. So we will move on to day number 2. There's nothing for me in the first couple, Ruby. Anything that sort of sticks out in the opening handicap or the Elizabeth Stakes?
There wasn't really the opening handicap at 2 o'clock. That's the Elizabeth Stake, sorry. Obviously, Running Line sets the standard and is a short enough price favourite. And again, I was going through this for quite a while this morning, Bash, looking for something to take on Running Line with. Struggling, maybe Briege, if you go all the way back to her run at Royal Ascot last year, where she was second to Coppice in the Sandringham. A reproduction of that, yeah, could give her a chance. Ran well enough at Goodwood on her comeback run this year behind Royal Dress. She was third on that occasion. So look, again, looking for something. It's the kind of the right makeup for an each way bet. 9 runners,
Sure. Yeah.
3 places. Yeah, and I'm just not 100% sold on Running Line, so I'm going to go with Briege each way.
Okie dokie, okie
Or
dokie.
Briege.
We move on to the 235, which is the Betfred Diomed Stakes, the Group 3 over a mile. A tricky little contest, this, Ruby. Is there any that stick out for you?
Obviously, not obviously, but even looking at declarations or entries through the week, I think Mbesto, he's wearing a hood for the first time. James Doyle rides for Charlie Roger Varian even. I thought he ran okay behind Ottoman Fleet at Newmarket in April. Just needed the run on that occasion and faded in the last furlong. So I thought Besto could step forward. I thought there was some good enough form in there behind Nostrum. Mighty beat Dead Heated with Mighty Ulysses at Salisbury and ran well enough in Paris behind Poker Face in his last start last year. So I think Besto, as a 4-year-old, hold on. I'd take a chance on him.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I'm just having a look at declarations. There was one that I liked for the Hanyard, which isn't running, but I think the one that I would probably go for is Highland Avenue of Charlie Appleby. I think it stays the trip really, really well. Go on the ground, goes well at Epsom, ticks a lot of boxes, but tricky little contest. Now, is there one that you like in the dash, Ruby?
Well, the 3-year-old dash first, Bash, and I thought Mashadi of Kevin Philippard de Foy's looked home and hosed at Ascot when Jimmy Speaking nailed him in the last 50 yards. Looked like he didn't stay. He was drawn, stalled one, far side, yeah, one, under David Egan at that stage. Broke, travelled well, quickened up to go and put this race to bed. And I think he just didn't stay. So dropping back down to 5. Look, he's gone up a few pounds in the weights, but I thought dropping back down to 5. Yeah, I thought Mashadi had a squeak in the 3-year-old dash. And in the open dash, I think last year's race probably holds the key to it. Obviously, the stalls didn't open for those in the 3 highest stalls in time, but I thought Silky Wilkie was flying home last year, has dropped in the ratings this time round. Is a 99 now, whereas in Epsom last year, Silky Wilkie was rated 107. £8 lower, cheap pieces on. I thought he had a chance, even though I think it always called him Silky Wilkie a mare, but he's not, he's a gelding. And I thought the other one that might run okay is, no, he's not declared either since I looked, was One Night Stand. So no, I'll side with Silky Wilkie. Oh, One Night Stand is there, sorry. Safi Osborne rides for Scott Dixon. He came home well in last year's dash as well. So One Night Stand and Silky Wilkie be my two.
Okay, so in the 310, Mashadi's around about a 10 to 1 poke and Silky Wilkie a 7 to 1 poke as well. It'd be nice if both of those could do the business, Ruby. And we'll move on to the 430, the big one, the Betfred Derby over 1 mile, 4 furlong. The big question, Ruby, City of Troy, does he turn up? Or the question of has he not trained on? How did you assess his running the Guineas?
I thought his run the Guineas was so poor. I thought he was one of the first horses beaten in the Guineas. So I think it's very hard to assess him on that one sole run. I do think you have to take what Aidan O'Brien says on board. He thinks he way undercooked them, blaming the really wet winter, which we did have. Very easy thing to blame. And just being too kind. But like if he hadn't done this last year with a gusto, then you'd be saying there's no way he can do this.
Sure.
But obviously the precedence is there, so Aidan O'Brien can, and maybe that's clouding all our judgment. And we're thinking, well, she's done it before, he's going to go and do it again.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to. I'll probably end up watching the Derby Bash.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't bring myself to put my hand in my pocket to go after City a try.
Sure.
Therefore, where do you fall? I thought Ancient Wisdom looked a rock solid 2-year-old and was no match for economics in the Dante. But I thought he'd step forward from that and being friendly, was good at Linkfield. But there's 2 runs there, there's 2-year-olds, and especially one with Ancient Wisdom would have you thinking. Dancing Gemini needs to prove that he stays. And, I ended up coming back down in Los Angeles.
Okay.
One first time at Tipperary, backed it up then in San Clou when he beat Stunning Peach in Illinois. I know Illinois hasn't franked that form, but I thought Los Angeles was good at Leopardstown when he beat Euphoric and Taraj. So I've ended up coming back down in Los Angeles. And, the more I'm looking at it, I think listening to the Ballydoyle camp, they have no doubt which one of the two is better. It's City a try. So I'm afraid I'm going to end up watching the Derby. But even though if I had to pick one, I'd be going with Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think there's been so many from the Aidan O'Brien camp which have needed the run. I think off the top of my head, Capulet was beaten easily at Chelmsford and went and won at Chester. Like they seem to need that first run, but I think
That's what's
if
pushing me to Los Angeles because he went and
yeah,
won first time. Now I know he beat an Aiden horse and Taraj Dermot Wells was third, but mind you, he beat Euphoric, who'd had a run at Cork. So maybe that's an even better performance from Los Angeles because he beat the fitter of the stable companions.
yeah, you're talking yourself into a bet here, Ruby.
I am. Like the
I
more
can
I
see
look
it
at it, the more I'm
unfolding
talking
in front of
myself
my
into Los
eyes.
Angeles. So I need to step away, Bash. I need to step back,
Step
take a
back.
deep breath.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a tricky one. And I think if City of Troy was the price, he was sort of directly after the Guineas, around about that 7-1 mark. You could say, well, look, I have an each way play, but at the 11-4, 3-1 available, you're a brave man. And no one's going to be shocked if he goes and bolts up, but yeah, you're a brave man. Again, I did like Ancient Wisdom, about 5-1. You can get in places each way. I agree. I think he'll step on a lot from his reappearance on conditions that wouldn't have suited, and one at a price which will go against all the stats and everything, but is a horse called Voyage for the Richard Hannon Yard, 25-1, but absolutely bolted up on debut, beat Mr. Hampstead, who was a
I
good, I think, third and a decent race at Chester. Are you going to shoot me down, Ruby, or
no, I looked at him right, and the only one I could kind of get a handle on for a rating was Brave Call,
okay?
um, who's an 85, and Mr. Hampstead is 86, right? So there you
Mhm.
have them. They're a neck and a neck. But when you watch the race, right, Voyage absolutely trounced them.
Yeah,
And so you're saying, but still, if you think, right, they're all off levels, we'll give them £15 higher than Brave Call and Mr. Hampstead. You're still only at 100.
yeah, yeah.
I did look at it and I went through it this morning. You're still
I
you
know.
can't get him any higher than 100, right? So
Yeah,
then the City of Troy run £24 below where the handicapper has him. Does Los Angeles run 11, Ancient Wisdom 15, or does Voyage have that 11 more, 15 more,
sure.
20 more pounds in there? I did look at it, Bash. I can see where you're coming
Yeah,
from, but I just couldn't bring myself to making a case
yeah.
for it.
Well, no, fair enough. I mean, I suppose that is why he's 25-1, but I don't know. I was watching an
You're
interview.
siding with it, Bash. You're siding with it.
Oh, absolutely. I'll get stuck in 25-1. Come on. But no, it's a wide open derby, probably not the most brimming with quality that we've seen in the past, but it's gonna be a great race nonetheless. Anything else that takes your fancy at Epsom, Ruby?
I didn't two tricky handicaps after the derby, and
Yeah,
that probably goes back to making a case again for should the Derby be the last race? It
mm,
probably should. Should all those other races be before? Should it
sure.
build Derby and that be the swan song? I think it
You
probably
know,
should.
interesting take on this, Ruby, because it was the same at Chester. I went to Chester a couple of weeks ago, and they had their big race, and then they had two apprentice races afterwards. And my theory was that they do that to ease the car parks. So after the Derby, 50% of people might say, actually, I'll go now. And then after the penultimate race, maybe another 25%, and the last 25% go after the last, rather than everyone sticking to the Derby, and then it'll be chaos in the car parks.
Yeah, but what if you had something after the Derby, not racing, a celebration, I don't
Okay.
know,
Sure.
party, whatever it is,
Okay.
to encourage people not to just run out the gate after the
Yeah.
Derby, but leave at their own time or their own
Hmm.
discretion or their own Epsom, we've all been reading it. They're making plans to change the Derby Festival, encompass or bring more people of the area back into get them more involved in the Derby.
Mm.
Is that another way of incorporating the community, getting the people of Epsom, South London to buy into it? Maybe.
There we go. That's a question for another day. But Ruby, when are we next going to see you on course with racing breaks? Are you heading over to Royal Ascot?
Ascot, yeah, we're in Ascot. I think there was. Well, I should know that off the top of my head, Bash, shouldn't I? But no, we're definitely in Ascot one of the day or two of the days, one or two of the days anyway, for a couple of different um get-togethers. So yeah, looking forward to Ascot. I love Ascot. It's a great
Yeah.
week.
No, Ascot will be amazing. For anyone that hasn't bought your tickets yet, we have selected tickets, or should I say, a small majority of tickets left for the Saturday of Royal Ascot. We've got a Race and Break Silks lawn package where we've got our own private marquee. You'll get free drinks on arrival. You've got outside seating, a tipster session, and much more. So head to the website if you want to get involved. Friday's fully sold out. But apart from that, Ruby, It's been a pleasure joining you again. Are you going to give me
And you,
your best bet for the 2 days?
best bet for the 2 days is Yalang Yalang.
Ylang, okie dokie. I will go Emily Upjohn, even though we're not going to get rich off an even money shot. But anyway,
What about the double bash? Double up. Can always
yeah,
dream big.
yeah, that's true. What with Voyage at 25 to 1?
No, Emily Upjohn with Yalang Yalang.
Okay, yeah, but as Azealia is going to win the Oaks anyway. But yes, thank you everyone for watching. If you've got any questions or anything that you'd like Ruby to answer, just put them in the comments below. Ruby, thanks for your time and
Thanks,
enjoy the
guys.
next couple of days and better luck to your daughter in her. Was it pony racing you were saying?
No. Eventing. She's in the pony class in Mill Street. So dressage Friday, cross country Saturday, show big Sunday bash.
There you go. And then the Cheltenham Festival in what, 10 years time, something like that?
No, don't say that. Her poor mother.
Enjoy your day, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.